The Bitcoiners, they're into Bitcoin. They're going to always be into Bitcoin, and I don't think that'll ever change.
I am here with Anthony Pompliano, known to his fans as Pomp. You've launched and sold companies, you have 100 million podcast downloads, you have almost 2 million followers on X, and now you are launching a daily show with X. This isn't the first time that we've seen social media companies try and get into original content. How are they approaching it differently this time, you think, than they did previously or than other social media networks did?
I think a lot of social platforms, they've done what they thought was the right thing, which is they've gone to people who created great content on other platforms, usually in different kind of content types. So if you go to somebody who's been a TV host for a long time, that doesn't necessarily translate to kind of digital native platforms like X. And so by coming to somebody like myself or a Khloe Kardashian, we are very digital native. We understand what is the content that works. We understand what is the language, the culture of these platforms. And so it kind of gives you a leg up on being able to do that. But it also helps that I've got a pretty large audience already on X of the exact type of people that they're trying to reach. And so I think that, while other platforms have had, some success and some failure, by going to the digital native, it's a very, very different approach. But I think that there's a place for this kind of exclusive content. And so also, I think that there's a place for opinion-based analysis. Now, what I do think is interesting about the opinion-based analysis is there's opinion kind of talking heads, and then there's opinion based on what you're doing in the market. And so one of the things that we've really benefited from is every time I go to talk about something, if I'm talking about something in a positive or negative light that is not reflected in our portfolio, people know, right? They can very quickly do it. And I meet people all the time and they say, what are you invested in right now?
Yeah.
And that tells you pretty much everything you need to know about how I'm thinking about the world. And so by having skin in the game, I think it again is just you now publicly talking about the things that you're doing yourself. And that in some ways elicits trust. On the other hand, though, it also brings a lot of scrutiny. And there's plenty of people who will say, hey, you thought this was a good idea. It ended up not being a good idea. And if you're going to put yourself out there and you're going to talk about this stuff, you got to be willing to, kind of take both the praise and the critiques hand in hand.
Yeah, well, and as you keep going, it seems like you're also expanding. You've gotten a little bit more political.
Well, the politics came for business and finance.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't actually think that majority of people in business or finance wanted to talk about politics. I didn't want to, but when you see, just take the industries that we're directly involved with, kind of early stage technology, a lot of kind of innovative industries, cryptocurrency, et cetera, when every single day you're having a conversation and it seems like a founder is telling you that they personally were debanked, their company was debanked, they can't launch because there's a regulator somewhere. We're an investor in a company that literally went and tried to get a Fed master account and they got denied for it, just over and over and over again. Eventually you say, well, why is this happening? And so you begin to realize, wait a second, if we don't go and actually engage in this, then we're just going to get taken advantage of over and again. And I think that you saw a ton of industries go through this. And, there's everyone from like the Elon Musks who have become very public and kind of hardcore about it, all the way down to, frankly, every conversation I have with early stage founders. They're all talking about this. They're saying, I need to be able to operate my business. And the kind of bureaucratic apparatus started to infringe on that. And there's plenty of regulations or rules or things that are important and they're there for a reason. But there's also a lot of kind of nonsense that was going on. And so I do think that the kind of political wave that you're seeing in business and finance is much less like all of a sudden everyone woke up at one point and was like, let's go into politics. And it was much more about how do we evaluate what the risks are to our business and address them. And a huge risk was this kind of bureaucratic apparatus that really came for tech, business, finance, and people had to respond. Probably the most important thing the administration can do is not just in crypto, just generally, and they're doing this, we want technologists to be successful.
Yeah.
Just say that every day, over and over and over again, and say, we're not gonna let you break the law. We're not gonna let you do crazy things that are gonna put people in danger. We're not gonna let you do things that are unethical or immoral, but we want you to be successful. As long as you play by what most people believe to be common sense rules, we are gonna support you. We're gonna do everything we can. And a lot of times that's just, we're gonna get out of your way. Yeah. And if they can do that, I think that entrepreneurs have proven for centuries that they will figure out solutions to problems, they will advance us forward. And so it's really just, instead of being abrasive and kind of, the headwind, become a tailwind and say, we're behind you, we're ready to go, what do you need? And I think that if we can do that within those common sense frameworks, we're gonna end up in a much better place in 4 years.